Hey, it's Bill here. I'm back. Why not start with the World Grand Prix Darts Championship, and I'll give you my predictions for day one. Well, it's Bill. Maybe it's been 4 months since I've done a video, but maybe I finally got over the Leafs losing. No, I haven't. Have I got over their off-season? No. But the Cowboys won today, and they played really, really good. So, well, okay, fair enough, do a video. The other thing, I've been doing a whole bunch of analysis on darts players. So I'm going to start going through that. Who I think is going to lose a tour card, who I think is going to get in the top 16, who's going to get the top 32, who's going to fall back out of those top 16, 32. And then I'll call it the either Martin Lukeman, Andrew Gilding Award of who I think doesn't have a tour card in their first year, but will have a year like Gilding and Lukeman have had this year to make sure they have tour cards going forward. But we'll get into to the darts here. I think there's some value as well. I'm going to go through a bet that I have, but I'm also going to share some things that I find some interesting. And if you want to make your bets, you can go ahead. But we'll get into the first day. The first matchup up is Krzysztof Ratajski, Callan Ritz. I'm going to say it. I think disappointing year for both, although very, very disappointing in my opinion for Callan Ritz. I think the speed of his game has caught up to him. He's too quick. When he's got an A game, his A game is an A game. But he got no B, C, D. He's got an E game. And a lot this year has been an E game. Yes, he's made a final. Yes, he's got some good wins. But certainly not what you expected after his performance at the World Championship. Ratajski has shown that a little bit of dartitis, but, you know, consistent. Yeah, if you take a look at his stats overall, very consistent. So, in the World Grand Prix, again, well, I'll kind of sit on my soapbox here a little bit. This best of 3 sets, so the first 1 to 2 sets, drives me crazy. This is what you refer to as a TV. I know they don't want to call it a major, but for goodness sakes, it's one of the biggest prizes. One of the top 3, 4, 5 tournaments out there. And you have the first round, which is upset prone, to go best of, or the first 1 to 2 sets. I mean, really what could happen is someone doesn't double in a certain point, gets broken, and there's no coming back. I don't like it. I think the first round should be best of 5 sets. However, it is what it is. I'll just pick with what we have here, but this is definitely, if you're a seed or you're their favorite, this is the round you need to get through. And once you get through this round, at least you have the ability to go best of 5 or the first 1 to 3 sets. Gives you a little bit of time just in case you do make a mistake. But a mistake here in the first round, it could be lights, camera, action, you're done. And we've seen this plenty of times. You'll see more upsets in the World Grand Prix than you will in any other tournament. Let's go into the picks. First one up, Krzysztof, the Polish Eagle, Ratajski against Callan Ritz. I'm taking Ratajski all day here. Let's look at the stats. Ratajski's a better double hitter. He's a better scorer this year, which is crazy to me. You'd think Callan Ritz would be one of the best scorers after seeing how he performed. He is not. He's not performed well. I don't even know if he's thrown a dart since July, because I've been going through the stats, and he didn't play in the World or the Players' Championship Series in August. I think the last time the man threw a professional dart was probably in July. That's too much for me. Now, Ratajski, same thing. He's been out a little bit. He did get to play in the European Championship in September, so he did make a run there, which might have got him into the European Championship final. Certainly not a good year for both. I take a look at the stats. It's Ratajski all day. Now watch, Ritz shows up with his A game, but the only way that Ritz is going to win is an A game. He doesn't have BC, where if Krzysztof Ratajski doesn't have his A, he does have that B game. And just though I'm going to go consistency, and you got to double in, I'm going Ratajski here, 2-0. Next game up, this is a throw your hands up in the air and take a guess. You take a look at Dolan and Bunting. You know, Dolan more consistent, definitely more consistent. 100+ scores, definitely more. Bunting the better scorer overall, 140+. Doubles, pretty much the same. So I'm looking for where's this going to go. I have no idea. So I got to make a pick. So we'll go best. We'll go at least go to 3 sets. I'm going to shade to Dolan a little bit here. Certainly don't like the value. You do get a +110 value for Dolan. I kind of find that crazy because they're very similar players. But I don't like Dolan enough to put any bet on that one. So, but I'm going to take Dolan 2-1. Next game up, you're talking about a dominant player against another very disappointing player. Players in darts in the North this year have been I don't know what's going on. Ryan Joyce. Adam Hunt has had an atrocious year. Kellen Ritz, disappointing. And Chris Dobie, in my mind, very disappointing year. Yes, he's had some runs, but consistency, it's just every time he steps up for a big game, it's a disaster. And I expect the same here. And he's playing Luke Humphries. Luke Humphries has been a revelation this year. If you take a look at he's one of the best average or best double hitters, best scores against Dobie, who's got some good scoring, but his doubles have been lacking. Now, granted, you get to start on a double, so you can pick your double that you like, but I like Humphries all day here. Humphries had a really, disappointing match play. Again, both players, other than the European Championship, not a lot of darts between July and, not doing the World Series or not doing any of that. So, but I still like Humphries all day here. I'm going to take Humphries to win this one 2-0. Next game up, I think, will be a doozy. Dave Chisnell, Dimitri Vandenberg. Now, if you look at the stats, they're pretty much dead even. Dave Chisnell's plus 100. So you can see here it's a little bit, they're closer. And you know what? The only thing going... So I know Dimitri Vandenberg made a run to the final in a European Championship, and Dave Chisnell just won a European tour with a 9-darter. Chisnell's throw drives you crazy if you're betting on him because it's snatchy. And Dimitri Vandenberg has one of the most slickest throws. So if you're just going on throws alone and consistency that way, you probably want to lean towards Dimitri Vandenberg. But I will say this, ever since Dimitri Vandenberg switched to Target, and by the way, maybe the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. I'm not a fashion guy, I could care less about it, but it's pretty bad. But his dart, he's not hitting the 180s like he did before. I think he's changed darts, and you're doubling in. Chisnell's got the confidence going in. Certainly a game I'm going to stay away from on the betting, but I'll take Chisnell to win this one. I think it'll be a great game, but I'll go 2-1. Next game up is your barn burner. Maybe, to me, I know there's Smith Aspinall tomorrow. I think this is the dandy game, and I think unfair draw for both players. Not one of these players wanted to draw each other. Dirk Van Duijvenbode against Johnny Clayton. You're talking about pretty much the same percentage on doubles. Both of them hit doubles. Dirk Van Duijvenbode is a 180 machine, and Johnny Clayton is a 140 plus machine. So they're going to score. It's going to be who gets in. It's going to be all about the doubles. Now think about this, what we're trying. You got the champion from last year, but Dirk is defending money. He made a final 2 years ago. So this is going to, if he doesn't win this game, he's dropping down the rankings. He's got to at least make a final to protect the money he made 2 years ago. Does that put extra pressure on him? I think it does. I know Johnny Clayton won a World Series event, but to me, he didn't look that great. He did look really good in his last European tour. The one before, Peter Wright took him out to the woodshed. I'm going both ways. Like, throw a quarter up. I don't know. But then I look at the odds. Dirk Van Duijvenbode is plus 130. I mean, that is tasty. This is a pick'em game in my eyes. I look at plus 130 in a pick'em game. You're getting the money on the right side, to me. Now, Johnny Clayton could win the game, but still, if you take a look at it, it's a pick'em game. It should be, minus 110, both sides. To me, it's that close. I just think Dirk Van Duijvenbode is going to hit a couple 180s and go back. I mean, when he got in that double run with the World Grand Prix 2 years ago, he couldn't miss a double. Johnny's a good double hitter, too. Again, you're swaying both ways here. But, if I was betting and I really, really was passionate about Dirk Van Duijvenbode, I think he's got the better price. But I'm going to take Dirk Van Duijvenbode, a bit of an upset. I don't know if it's a big upset, but a bit of an upset to take out the champion 2-1, or the defending champion 2-1. Next game up, Peter Wright versus Kim Huybrechts. I will say this. Peter Wright switches his darts all the time. This is an event that's going to hurt him. I think he got a good draw with Kim Huybrechts. I wasn't impressed with Kim Huybrechts in the last European Tour, beating Michael van Gerwen. Christ, I don't know how many darts Van Gerwen missed at doubles to tie at 5-5, but I mean, Huybrechts averaged 89 in that game, so this is not something to write your ticket on. He averaged 89 in a World Grand Prix game, fair enough, but he averaged 89 in a non-double-in event, and he beat Michael van Gerwen, and this was the next coming of 134 checkout, but he didn't play that well. That's the honesty about it. He didn't play that well. Peter Wright makes me nervous because he changes his darts all the time, and I don't think that affects his scoring. He is the best 140 plus hitter in this. The guy hits more 140s per leg than anyone else. Johnny Clayton's close, but he is not in Peter Wright's league. Peter Wright gets in. If he has no trouble getting in, this is a cakewalk. I think it won't be a cakewalk, and because of his doubles. Now, I've seen where Peter Wright's saying he's going to go for double top. He's been practicing double top, and he typically does that. Before the event, you'll start seeing him go at double top a lot, where he usually goes for double 16. I think you're going to see Kim Hybricks on the double 16. I think it's going to be a lot closer. Now, I will say this. I think Peter Wright can get taken out here. So if you like the price, it's a really great price. But if I think, the kind of the way I look at this tournament, Wright wins this round, there's no stopping him. But he's got to get through this round. And if you go back through his history, he's lost to Rob Cross in the first round last year. He lost to Jermaine Wadamita in the first round. And then he made a final. This is just the way it is in this tournament. You got to get through that first round as a seed. Again, I think there's a lot worse draws that Peter Wright could have got. So I think he's going to sneak this one in. Although I don't think it's going to be 2-0. I think there'll be a little bit of, if you're a Peter Wright fan, a little bit of quaking in your boots. But I see Peter Wright winning this one 2-1. Next game up. How many times in the world? MVG against Gary Anderson. It seems like every bloody big tournament, this is the draw. And Gary Anderson, you look at his stats, they're not bad. But he doesn't, this is a double start. I mean, you have to practice. If I take a look at the doubles, Michael Van Gerwen has a slight edge on the doubles, and Gary Anderson has a slight edge. Even with the way he's playing, he says it's still a slight edge on scoring, which is crazy to me when I look at the stats. MVG, I'm sorry, everyone keeps telling me he's had a good year. Yes, he's won the match play. Yes, he won the Premier League, so it's not a horrible year, don't get me wrong. Oh, he's near his form. He ain't anywhere near his form in 2017. He ain't even in the ballpark of his form. It's just not what it is. Look at the stats. He's getting beat by people he never would have got beat by. He would have never got beat by Kim Hybricks. How many other people have taken him out? He doesn't lose to these people usually. He's been losing to them. He's prone. He's vulnerable. Just Gary Anderson. When's the last time Gary Anderson beat MVG in anything? It just doesn't happen. I think it's a horrible draw for Anderson. I think it's a great draw for MVG. So I like MVG in this one. I don't think it's going to be... I love everyone saying, oh, MVG, Gary Anderson. What a tasty matchup. I think it's a shit matchup. I don't think it's any good. I've seen the last 5 games. They've been blowouts. And they've been not good darts. They don't bring out the... They used to be a great game. If you go back 3 years ago, it was a barn burner. I don't think it's a barn burner at all. I think MVG is going to win this one 2-0. And I do like the price for MVG. I expected it to be a lot more favored towards MVG, but it's paying minus 225. We'll talk about that in just a second. The next game up, Jose De Souza against Adrian Lewis, the guy who can't count against the guy who I don't understand at all. So, like, Jose's going to have to hit a double going in. He might aim at double 17 for all I bloody know. I have no idea what double he's going to go for. Adrian Lewis will most likely will go for 16s or 20s, usually 16s, but I love these commentators that tell me, oh, Lewis is coming back. Lewis hasn't been back since 2014. Yes, he won a tournament this year for Boris Koltsov. Like, just got lucky on the run in, if you ask me. Well, he played good last week. He got to a quarterfinal and got destroyed. That's good for Adrian Lewis. Adrian Lewis is coming back. Just the same people that told me Glenn Durrant's coming back. Just like the same people. Michael Van Gerwen's back at his form. They're not. The stats show this. I mean, Lewis's stats aren't bad, but Jose De Souza's got some pretty damn good stats. I get it. Jose De Souza on the floor hasn't been as good, but Jose De Souza in his first game has been damn good. The second game, not so good. I like Jose De Souza all day on this, and I love the price over an Adrian Lewis. I don't think Adrian Lewis will hang with him at all. I like Jose De Souza to win this one 2-0, and it's paying minus 163. So we'll see how I do. Again, Ratowski over Ritz 2-0. Dolan over Bunting 2-1. Again, if you want to take Dolan on that price, that's plus 110. Humphreys over Doby 2-0. Chisnell over DVB. Dimitri Vandenberg 2-1. I love this game. Dirk Van Dijvenbode 2-1 over Johnny Clayton. I'm going to be sitting there watching that game. That's going to be a beaut. Peter Wright to squeak by Kim Hybricks 2-1. MVG to destroy Anderson 2-0, and the same De Souza to destroy Lewis 2-0. So in terms of bets, again, I'm going to call in that plus 130 on Dirk Van Dijvenbode. I didn't personally take it, but if you like Dirk Van Dijvenbode, it's a really good price. It's an even matchup. I did a 3-team parlay. And 3-team parlays, I love Rutowski over Ritz. And of course, you know what's going to happen. Ritz going to bring his A game. But I haven't seen a lot of his A game. So I like Rutowski to win this one. So I'm going to take Rutowski, MVG to beat Anderson, and D'Souza to beat Lewis. It's a 3-team parlay. That's going to pay on a $10 bet. It's going to pay $37.69. I like that a lot. I'm getting 3 favorites at a really good price, and 3 favorites who I think are going to win with good prices behind them. So again, $10 bet for me, $37.69 to win. We'll see how we do. Hope everyone enjoys the darts. We'll keep up the videos. Enjoy. Cheers.